Well, we have more reaction now from Father David Pellican from Divine Child in Dearborn. He's been studying in Rome for the past 2 years, and he joins us now from Rome live via Zoom. Father Pellican, tell us a little bit about your first thoughts when you heard that Pope Francis has passed.
When I first heard Pope Francis had passed, I think I would certainly describe I was saddened. You know, he had been the Pope for the entirety of my own priesthood, and it had a real strong voice calling us as priests to be men who went to the peripheries, who didn't just sit in an office, but went out on mission to bring the hope and the joy of Jesus to those who were maybe on the margins. So it was sadness, but I also thought it was very fitting that he passed the day after Easter, a day of great joy and hope in the resurrection.
Yeah, a day of rebirth. So how do you think the Pope will be remembered for his time at the head of the Catholic Church?
You know, one of Pope Francis's points of emphasis that he returned to time and again was the call to have a heart of love, the heart of Jesus, for those who are on the peripheries of society. He called us to show the love of Jesus and to work for the betterment of people such as immigrants, the elderly, the unborn, the sick, the homeless, and orphans, those who maybe didn't have a voice in society. And I think that will be a big part of his legacy as our Pope.
And part of that legacy was sort of opening up the church, not just to people who might be referred to as the least of these, but also opening up to people who might be financially successful and prosperous, but still on the outside of the church, sort of liberalizing the church. Do you believe that that possible change of course will last after Pope Francis, now that he's transitioned?
I believe and I hope that the church will continue, yes, to reach out to all peoples, regardless of their background, to bring, again, that message of hope and peace and joy.
Now, you are a priest, as we mentioned, although you have been in Rome for the last 2 years, so not certainly leading a flock. That said, how has Pope Francis, who, as you said, has been the leader of the Catholic Church during your entire time as a priest and beyond, how would you say he's impacted your teaching and your leadership of your flock?
You know, I think he's had an impact on me personally, as well as on the Archdiocese. In 2016, the Archdiocese embarked on this synod, which was really a session of listening to all the people of the Archdiocese, as well as to the Holy Spirit. And one of the things that I think we discerned, listening to all those voices, including that of the Holy Father, was to be a church on mission. And so for me, it was a call to get out there, to not just be a priest who sits at my desk. Pope Francis often said to his priests, he said, you need to smell like the sheep, right? And that being the analogy of the shepherd who's not far away, but in among the sheep, not putting himself on a pedestal, but being a servant, a leader who sees his role primarily as one of service.
And of course, the church is now entering a period of mourning with the passing of the Pope. But what are your prayers for the future of church leadership? Obviously, there will be a process of selecting a new leader of the Catholic faith. What are your prayers for who that leader will be and what they will represent?
My hopes and my prayers are that we'll continue to listen to the guidance of the Holy Spirit, to choose a leader for our times, a leader who can be a voice of clarity and of charity to the world, continuing to really bring the hope of the risen Jesus as we go forward.
Father David Pellican of Divine Child in Dearborn, who is currently studying in Rome, thank you so much for joining us and offering your perspective on the passing and the life of Pope Francis.